the station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Freedom Chat, where real Americans speak their minds. And no topic is off limits. No scripts, no judgment, just honest conversation, raw, unfiltered, and free. If you're ready to challenge the narrative and celebrate true freedom, you're in the right place. This is Freedom Chat.
Good morning. All right. Before we get started, we're going to have a 5-second moment of silence in observance of Pearl Harbor. So I'm going to count that down. Okay. It is important to remember significant events in our country's history. And we all know what today was, and we all acknowledge that as something that's important. Well, we have a new person, which is fantastic. This is Gabby. Gabby hails from the great state of Minnesota, who's been in the middle of headlines. I mean, the state of Minnesota is in a lot of trouble, Gab. Your governor is a little bit on the, I don't know, man. He makes me a little bit nervous. He claims that Donald Trump isn't capable of doing his job, but this guy he's a piece of work, man. So, Gab, why don't you talk about that for a second? And then I'm going to turn it over to Dennis and Mom and let them kind of run the show today. So, Gab, go for it.
Not exactly sure what you're looking for. I'm kind of new to politics. I mean, I'm a Republican, but I've only been recently kind of following the headlines. And thanks to actually a former student of mine, he's really big into politics. So I kind of watch what he's doing and follow what he's been doing and stuff like that.
I'm glad you jumped. I'm glad you decided to get involved. And following is one thing, but being involved is another thing entirely. And, there's a million ways to be involved. I follow a guy named Jesse Kelly, and he talks about, if we really want to take our country back and bring it back to where it was, it has to start at the school boards, and it has to start at the city councils. And then you can build it from there. But until we gain control of the localities, it's going to be a continuing struggle. And all you got to do, if you want to know just how dangerous this is look to Dearborn, Michigan, and now New York City, where, they're praying in the middle of the streets. And, that's dangerous in its own right, but it's disgusting in another right. And by no means are we attacking people for their faith, but what we are attacking is their inability and I don't even say inability. I've kind of changed my view on that. It's their unwillingness to assimilate with the pre-existing cultures. And I'm not saying that they need to change their belief structure, but you know what? What you are doing in the Middle East, you can't do here because it doesn't fit. And if you're unwilling to do that, then maybe you need to go back to where you come from. And I know that sounds like Neanderthalish, but it's not. It's the simple, unfiltered truth of the matter.
Well, Mark, if you're starving to death and somebody invites you over to their house for dinner and you start complaining about the gravy's too brown or the wallpaper's the wrong color in their house, bye-bye.
Hey, Dennis, can I come by and have lunch?
Yeah, I hope you like the gravy.
Hey, I love the gravy. Hey, you know what? I'll bring Jersey Mike's. That could be a conversation. What are the best Subway sub sandwiches that are out there? Here's my top 5. Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Subs. Used to have Quiznos up there, but they don't even exist anymore. And down at the very bottom would be Subway. Subway may be the most popular, the most well known, but they are pretty much garbage. Congratulations.
Remember Blimpie?
I do remember Blimpies, man.
Blimpies,
Blimpies was great.
Yeah.
Gabby's sitting there going, "What the hell are you talking about, Blimpies?" So,
Yeah, you lost me there.
so Mom has got something that she wants to talk about. Dennis, this applies to you in Colorado. So I'm going to turn this over to her and let her kind of run it, because I don't have all of the information. I know what that she does. I've got my opinion about it. But I'm gonna throw it to you guys. So, Mom, you have the floor.
I wouldn't say that I have all of the information. Sorry about my voice. I haven't talked today. But when you think about it, what they're doing now is the end result of electing a environmentalist, I call them eco-terrorist people, who are the Democrats in the House and the Senate ever since Polis has been in and before, because they're the ones that put in the rules that said we have to stop polluting because we're going to kill the planet and all that crap.
Okay, so Mom, talk specifically about what has gone on
I'm laying the groundwork
this week.
Mark. So the groundwork is that the culmination of those orders to eliminate the emissions
Fossil fuels
from the gas,
yeah,
has now turned into an all-out assault, as far as I can see, on natural gas in Colorado. And the way they're doing it is they're trying to, they upped the ante by raising or lowering the amount of emissions you can have. And they want you to buy this heat pump thing, which I looked into. And for most people, and I'm not talking rich people, I'm talking us normal people, the retrofit would not even come close to giving us what you would want. And the heat pump doesn't really work.
Okay,
what it does.
So, Mom, here's the question. Does the technology exist in an efficient manner for the everyday Coloradan?
It does right now, as long as you leave that heat pump off.
That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about what they intend to do.
The heat pump, I'm not sure where it would work efficiently. Okay. But how it works is it pulls the heat from the outside of your house. It's attached to your electric. It cuts off your natural gas completely, and you go all electric. And your heat for your house comes through this heat pump, which pulls the heat from the outside into your house.
So,
well, that works fine if it's warm outside. Colorado is not warm all the time.
Okay, so here's what this is what I'm understanding. The heat pump draws from atmospheric temperatures, and it generates the heat throughout the house. So it basically replaces the current way we heat our homes, which is gas furnaces. And the issue at hand here is the technology does not currently exist for it to transfer or convert cold air into heat. So what you run into in a state like Colorado, and oh, by the way, Gabby, don't be surprised if Tim Walz tries to do the same damn thing up there in Minnesota, because we know he's about as dumb as a rock too. But this is what they want to do, and this is what they try to lean on. We're trying to save the planet. That's what they say. We're trying to save the planet. Never mind the fact that all of the legitimate environmental scientists that are out there that are either ignored or squashed have said global warming does not exist. The global warming has not been accelerated by human consumption in any way, shape, or form. And that is coming from people who I have checked the credentials of these scientists that are basically ignored or, like I said, squished. So when you get an environmentally driven moron like Governor Polis and the people in his little circle, you get these policies crammed down everybody else's throats. And unless you can vote them out of office, which right now we can't because we have a lot of really, I hate calling people stupid, Gabby, but these people are really stupid. Because why you leave a state that is bad and being badly governed like California or Virginia or New York or Minnesota, why you would come to another state where it's not being governed great, but it's also not being governed poorly, and start voting the policies basically. Because when you vote for these people that represent, you're voting for policies. Whether you like it or whether you don't, that's what you're voting for. And to just be that stupid is just, I don't understand it. Because I wouldn't go to California and change the way they're doing things. If I was going to live there, I would vote the way I'm going to vote, because I think that the way I see things is just better. But this is what they're trying to do. And Mom, what's the timeline?
They upped the timeline. They want to do all this conversion, or at least start it, to bring the emissions down by 2030 instead of, I think it was, I don't remember what the original date was, but they've lowered it to 2030, which is impossible. First of all, putting these heat pumps on means you have to retrofit your whole house. And if you have an older house, that does not work well.
So here's a comment. So here's a comment that, so this will be, we got some comments today, which is pretty awesome. And I have no idea what the hell that person is saying, but whatever. Hello, that would be Beringle. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show. Texas managers, did you get George Floyd? Well, what did you get George Floyd for Christmas? Gab, I think that's a question for you.
Nothing.
We vote. Hey, look, I voted for Trump. I know my mom and Dennis voted for Trump. I'm pretty sure
I voted for Trump.
Voted for Trump. Based, I don't know what that means. 3.5 grams for my boy Floyd. I know what that reference is. That would be how much he OD'd by. Whenever elders mention anything electric or technical, I swear I hear hate in their voice. Well, here's a news flash for you. It's not just electrical technical. Here's if you're in an environment where it's warm, and that's why this one really makes sense. It works great, and I live down south. It works independently to each other. So here's what my mom is saying, and this really does apply to Gabrielle also. What's the average temp during the winter months, Gab, in your home?
It varies. We have it set to for the heat to kick on at certain times and then to shut off at other times.
And how cold does it get, and how long?
Minnesota
is a cold ass state.
It's a very cold state. It varies as well. Today, I don't think it's too cold in comparison to maybe a couple days ago.
Right.
So yeah, it might be like in the 20s today.
So
what's your average temperature in the wintertime, would you say?
Maybe low 20s. It can get lower than that too, depending on the day.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So if these pumps work well in the South, it's because in the South, the average ambient temperature is higher. So converting that air into something that is comfortable in a house is probably not that difficult to do, and probably not that expensive. I'm just going to assume, because hey, they're Hidden Earth. Here's my question, man, and Christian from Georgia. Here's my question: what's your average What is your average ambient temperature? That's the question that needs to be asked, is what's the average ambient temperature in Colorado during the wintertime? It, like this year, and look, we'll kind of get into this. This year's been weird for Colorado. We didn't get snow until last week.
Yeah.
Like December, we got no snow until December. That's nuts. I mean, that is insane. So the question rapidly becomes, if they're not paying attention to the environment itself, what are they paying attention to? I can tell you what my opinion is, but first we're going to go to a break. And Gab, you're going to love this. This is what we do, and it's the same one every single time. And I actually got my mom laughing a little bit, so she knows what's coming. Here we go.
They're cool tats, man.
Oh, for real. Thank you, bro. You see the Cobra?
And what is this one?
Oh, this? That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
Dad?
Nope.
Like not even a single letter?
No way. Not me.
Well, I love him. I think he's great.
Okay.
I think he's a real winner, Casey. If I were you, I wouldn't use protection.
That's my credo.
That's my credo, man.
Well, what's that? I'd like to reply to the gentleman that doesn't like old people talking about electrical stuff. Just because I'm old doesn't make me stupid. It did make me look things up. And I did look it up, and it would be extremely expensive to retrofit houses for this heat pump, particularly older houses, because they're not well insulated. And the list goes on of things that are against it for a place like Colorado. Then you go into the amount of money that renters are going to have to pay, because the cost of retrofit's going to get stuck on them.
Right. And here's one of the things that we're going to talk about. So this is Hidden Edits 0.777. They were the ones that made that comment. Here's Kristen 4276, Northern Mississippi. You're right. It gets cold and extremely hot in the summer. So we kind of run that back and forth, right? Heat's combined with a condenser unit. The furnace is changed. The question is okay. So here's my question for you. How long have you guys been running that kind of a system? And once again, your ambient temperature, what is the average temperature in the wintertime, and the average temperature, and how long? That's the other thing, is how long when does it get warm for you? When doesn't it? And my mom is right. We talk about what is right now what's the biggest catchphrase going on in politics right now? The catchphrase is affordability. That's the catchword. Everybody's wanting. We're now talking about affordability. Okay. And this kind of goes towards President Trump. They can't get him on world peace because, well, he's well on his way to achieving that. They can't get him on a lot of things because he's proven to be right. Can't get him on tariffs. He's proven to be right there. So now it's all about affordability. That was why Mondani won in New York. It had nothing to do with anything other than he keyed on something that people could emotionally attach themselves to. This is something that can be attached to the emotions. It's going to cost how much money? And like I said, I already saw Excel. Excel is running at ads about rebates. Well, come on, man. Give me a break. How much is the rebate going to actually benefit you? And that's the question. And if you're a renter, it's not going to benefit you at all, because unless you buy and are owning your house, you're just giving away your money. And that's a truth. That is a fundamental truth. Here's another comment. Had the train unit. Right. So you've been doing this for a long time. They're trying to convert. Okay, here's the equivalent. Mom, would you agree with this? They're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
They want everybody on electric, and our grid won't cover it. Yes,
and that's the other.
Sticking a round peg in a square hole. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and that's the other side to this, is they want to go electric everything because it's better for the environment. Well, the truth of the matter is they should have gone nuclear power decades ago. They knew that they had it. They knew they had the technology on small levels. Gabrielle knows about military equipment to a degree, right? Nuclear subs have been using nuclear reactors to power them for decades. And the nuclear aircraft carrier has been around since the early 70s. So don't say that you can't do this. It's utterly doable. And in areas where they've used them and used them clean, the safeguards are in place. Everything's in place. But the challenge you've got is you don't have the infrastructure right now. And you didn't do anything for years. And now all of a sudden you think you're trying to save the environment. Well, you're not. So, but that's something that is going to have to be dealt with. And I don't know how we're going to fix it other than how do you make a blue state purple? Dennis, how do you make a blue state purple?
Turn the heat up a little bit.
Gabby, how do we make blue states purple? What's the challenge here?
I think getting people out to vote.
Mail-in ballots.
Yep.
Stop 'em.
Okay, so I think we kind of did really good with that subject. Dennis, what has been going on this past week? Because I haven't been able to watch damn near anything, man. It's been a crazy week for me.
Honestly, I kind of was slacking in that department myself this week. I had just a lot going on, so didn't have a whole lot of time to really sit down and watch too much of the news or read about too much. But they're still hollering about the Department of War, and hitting these drug boats and saying that these guys are fishermen. So,
hey Dennis, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are those the strangest damn fishing boats you've ever seen in your life?
I'd like to learn how to fish without a pole. I think that would be.
Yeah, why don't you chime in on this one? You were 10,000 lakes. You've been around a couple of fishing boats, right?
One fishing boat once. My dad took me out once when I actually lived in Wisconsin, and it was not a very good experience.
Well, you've seen the pictures of these boats these guys are in, right?
Right. Yeah, they're not fishing boats.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I've been in a couple of fishing boats. I've fished on the water before. I've even been in in Gitmo. We fished in Gitmo. Mom, have you? Dana's my brother. His fishing boat doesn't look like what we're seeing running out of Venezuela, are they?
Doesn't run that fast, that's for sure.
Hey, let me tell you something. That boat that Dana's got is pretty damn fast, but it ain't running. What those engines are? What, a double 1,000 horse? Like they're running twin engines at 1,000 apiece. They're not running slow boats. Is kind of what it boils down to, right?
Makes it kind of hard to catch fish, don't it?
They had one, I think, that had 4 engines on it.
So here's a couple more comments. He's an electrician. He says it's energy efficient. Company will classify conversion as a remodel, and that's probably will have the pricing high. And hey, we appreciate you coming on. By the way, congratulations to Georgia beating the snot out of Alabama. That's never a bad thing. Just wanted to put that one out there. And you know what? I appreciate you coming on and putting in your 2 cents, because that's the whole point of this. The whole point of Freedom Chat is to get people to engage. even if we don't agree with each other, we still need to engage in a civil manner. So I appreciate you coming on. And look, if you go onto the Freedom Chat and you send a private message, I can get you actually on board. I can actually get you on board. You can actually join and have some fun, because trust me, we do have fun. Here's one for you. Our president, who has been accused of being everything but a normal human being, received an award from the FIFA for peace. I think the narrative of this guy being a dictator is so far dead that it's not even funny. Here's the sad part about this. I'm in a big band. Of course, I'm a trumpet player. And in my big band, during breaks, there are conversations that go on that, let me just tell you, my tongue hurts because of how much I have to bite it, because I don't want to tell these people that they're full of crap and that they've been watching too much Rachel Maddow and that they've been watching too much CNN, MSNBC, and all those garbage, quote unquote, news shows, which, surprisingly enough, President Obama said, yeah, they pretty much deliver the news. What is your idea of news, Gab?
Truth, honesty, get your facts straight.
And how much of, so I know my mom watches Fox, and I know Dennis watches Fox. The only time I watch Fox is when I'm either at Dennis's house or mom's house. So just keep in mind, I'm as ignorant as anybody else, because I try to focus on websites, and I try to focus on the news websites. There's Just the News is great. I watch Newsmax is fairly unbiased, and we know. Trust me, we know. But we don't want to call them libtards, do we?
Why not?
Hey, you know what I call them? I call them the poor unfortunate souls. You guys have seen the movie The Little Mermaid, right?
Yep.
When I hear the libtards, and when I hear them all, when I hear the lefties, and that's what I try to call them, is the lefties. When I hear the lefties talk their lefty language, I go, "You poor unfortunate soul," because the reality of being that far to the left is you're kind of wallowing in your own misery. As you can see, we got action. And by the way, he also said beating Bama is always great. So how do we, I think the biggest, and I end up dominating the damn conversation. I don't mean to. The hardest challenge that we're going to have is teaching people that what they think they're seeing is not really what they're seeing. Let's talk about Islam and Muslims, and this is by no means an attack on people of that faith. It's more about the people who get elected using that faith as their linchpin to create environments of, I can't tell you how many times I've watched someone say, well, you must be Islamophobic or you must be racist. And I'm like, where do you get race with faith? Where do you get race with faith is the question I ask. So Gab, I'll ask you, how do you, I'm a Christian. I've taken a very long road to get to where I am with my faith. But I do not look at faith from a perspective of race in any way, shape, or form. So I kind of would like to see where you stand on this, because you're in the middle of some crazy times up there, man. Holy crap. How do you contend with that?
Well, I guess I don't have it as bad as those that live like in Illinois. Um,
Or
well,
Michigan,
sorry.
or Michigan too, right?
Or Michigan, yeah. And like my dad's a pastor in Illinois, and so when I went to visit them over the summer, I was very shocked at how prevalent Islam is and Muslims in general are in that area. Because in Minnesota, in Mankato, there isn't that. You know, we have Somalians, but we don't have like mosques down the street.
Right.
So that was definitely a big shock.
Right.
But I wouldn't correlate faith with racism.
Hey, Mom, I kind of want to know where you stand on this, because you and I mean, look, I'm 57, and Dennis is 50, what, 56, 55? Dennis?
45.
Oh, good Lord. You're not 45, you liar.
No. You got me. Yeah, I just turned 55 in August.
But mom is 83, and you know, it's funny how people of our age, and by extension Mom's age, we kind of look around and we go, what the hell, right?
Yeah. Well, what I think when I see I don't equate faith with color, race either. It's, because faith is something that is a personal thing, or should be anyway. And it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. And actually, when you come right down to it, they bleed red, we bleed red, we all bleed red. All ought to get over the race crap.
It's kind of funny because I was in day 3 of the St. George Floyd riots in Denver, and I had a person ask me what I thought, and I basically said a bullet doesn't care. And my concept of that is the bullet doesn't care who it hits. The person is who you should be holding accountable. And that doesn't seem to happen in certain circles. They don't want to hold an individual accountable, but they do want to hold the machine accountable. And it's something that if we can't get people to stop and understand those things, we're going down a dark road that the only way we can get that road to lighten up is to, once again, have these hard conversations. I am inclined to say, if you are of the Islamic faith, I've got no problem with you. However, knowing what I do know about the Quran, you seem to have a problem with me. And the reason you have a problem with me is because I am what you would call an infidel. In fact, everybody on this little panel here is considered an infidel. And we're going to revisit that in 1 minute. We're going to do a 30-minute run. But first, we have my second favorite ad.
What happened to you? Ruben, I'm in a situation here. We have to leave now. Well, no, can we stay a couple more minutes? But dude, no, this is serious. I just sharted. I don't know what that means. I tried to fart and a little shit came out. I just sharted. All right, let's go.
There's a car behind us.
For the record, Gab, I play these every single weekend because I find them to be just over the top, crude, and funny. Hey, MBR Radio just said hello, Gabby. So
Hello.
you are getting you're getting runs. This is okay. This is, since we're on the subject. Chris is a Christian, and this is what he's saying. My concern is when they start practicing 100%, the Quran says for them to eliminate their infidels, which would be us, and he's right. That is the truth. And let's look at historically. The Crusades started because and what you are a teacher, right?
Yes, I am.
What did you teach?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What do you teach?
Oh, I teach American history, but also a little bit of European history because sadly I'm the only history professor at my school.
Wow. So
yes.
So let's kind of go down the little, let's go down the rabbit hole of American history, and let's go further back. The Crusades were not about the expansionism of Christianity. The Crusades were to stop the expansion of the violent expansion of Islam into the West.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stating this knowing this is kind of like the Reader's Digest version of it, right? But when Muhammad started his religion, it was based around conquest. It was not. Chris, thank you, because I wasn't sure what it says. Chris N. So since I mispronounced your name the entire morning, but the Crusades were there to stop Islam's expansion, because Islam wasn't just expanding by faith. It was expanding through violence. And if you didn't convert, you were either killed or you made a slave. So now we'll fast forward from the from the Crusades to when the American sailors were being captured and made slaves by it was the Ottoman Empire, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was the Barbary pirates, and they were a part of the Ottoman Empire. And if I am not mistaken, what basically happened was first John Adams sent emissaries, and they simply asked, "We have no problem with you people. You have no problem. Why are you doing this?" And the response from the Ottoman Empire was, "You are inferior to us because you're not Islamic, so we can do what we want to you." Well, that is in the Quran. And when Adams left office, Jefferson sent emissaries in the same manner, and he received the same response. Well, Jefferson did it right. Jefferson sent the United States Navy, and with the United States Navy, he sent a bunch of guys who had no problems being violent, and that would be the United States Marines, hence the term leathernecks. Most people don't know where that term came from, but I can tell you where that term came from. They all wore big, thick leather, basically neck protectors. And they went in there and they basically spread hate and discontent until the Barbary pirates capitulated. Is that pretty much? Do I have that pretty close?
Yes.
Wow. And see, she's a professor. She knows. I just am a dude who reads stuff, man.
You got to remember that the Barbary pirates had been holding the European countries, Britain and France and all the rest of them. They'd been doing the same thing. And those people, those lovely European ones, just happily paid the ransom.
Right.
Well, paid the ransom for those that had money to pay the ransom with. They would pay it. The rest of the people that were taken off their boats were enslaved. If they wanted more eunuchs, you know what a eunuch is.
Yes, we know what a eunuch is.
If they
Most
wanted
of us
more,
have watched Pirates of the Caribbean. We know what a eunuch is.
well,
not because we watched Pirates of the Caribbean, but because we thought that whole scene with the eunuch was funny. So
it was very funny.
It takes a certain twisted sense of humor to get that. So for those of you who don't know what a eunuch is, I'll let you guys research it on your own and get a chuckle. Chris says spot on. So yeah, Mom, carry on a little bit, and then I'm going to ask Gab to kind of throw her 2 cents in, because this is in her wheelhouse.
It's just to point out that the Ottoman Empire was doing what they had done for years. When they needed more people for their armors or whatever, that's how they got them. And if they wanted to have protectors for their harems, we're talking the guys on top. The guys on the bottom didn't matter.
Right.
That's what the eunuchs got to do.
Right.
Because after all, a eunuch is a eunuch. Kind of what they want to do to these little kids with the hormones.
So Gab, how close was I to? Did I embellish, or was I pretty straight?
I'm pretty sure you're pretty straight. I mean, the Barbary Pirates part of American history is not my forte, but from the bit that I did teach earlier in the semester, that was correct. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's kind of fast forward to current, okay? What we're seeing, and this is, I'm not saying this because it's my opinion. I am saying this because imams are getting up on stage and they are stating this. They are stating that they are going to bring Islam into every American home and that Islam is going to take over this country. And here's what I can tell you. They've already taken Dearborn unless the people in Dearborn have had enough. And if it gets to that point, it's going to turn ugly. And here's a news flash. And Gab, this is one that we've been talking about this, especially Dennis and I. This is my prediction, and I will be honest, I hope I'm wrong. Europe, starting in England, is going to turn bloody within the next 6 to 8 months. It's already started because the people of that quote-unquote faith are already disrupting, in Europe, they're disrupting Christmas marketplaces, and they're not being nice about it. They're being disgusting. So what do you think is going to happen when the people of the Christian faith have decided, you know what? You're a guest in what is otherwise known as my home. And you're just going to have to go. Don't go away mad. Just go away. To quote Motley Crue.
Mark, in Ireland, there's already a couple of groups, at least one that I know of, that are creating an uprising. I don't know if it's just the one. I just happened to catch a little clip of it the other day, and the clip reminded me of how the like ISIS and those guys, when they would show videos, they were all covered up, but these are these are people from Ireland, actual citizens, not visa or
right,
whatever citizens. Right. These are people born in Ireland, from Ireland.
Right.
Yeah, they're already talking uprisings and things like that. So yeah,
right.
Be prepared. It's coming.
So Chris, you're absolutely right about Muhammad and his deal. He called himself a prophet. We always talk about Christ. Christ didn't call him anything other than being a teacher. And that's what he called himself. He called himself a teacher. And in the Bible, it talks about false prophets. And it talks about the fact that they're going to name themselves as such. There are quite a few prophets who never claim to be prophets. Ezekiel is the one that I remember, because I watched David, the series on Amazon called the House of David, and it talks about how, if I'm not mistaken, it was Ezekiel who first had Saul as the king, and when Saul went south, so to speak, David became the next thing. But Ezekiel never once claimed himself to be a prophet. He claimed himself to follow the word of God, and that was what he did. And yeah, you're right. He was a false prophet. Most people don't really want to admit about Muhammad. Muhammad was a criminal. Muhammad was a thief before he ever decided that, hey, holy crap, I can really enrich myself if I claim to be a man of God, so to speak, or in their case, Allah, whatever. Dennis, I'm going to ask you and on the rest of this panel, what do you guys think is going to happen if Conor McGregor actually becomes the Prime Minister of Ireland? Because he is running. Y'all know who he is, right? For those of you who don't know who Conor McGregor is, he is an MMA fighter, and he's pretty damn famous. And he is running to become the next Prime Minister of Ireland because he's tired of watching his country be basically run down the toilet by these people. And they are people, but they're not good people. And I have friends who are Islamic that I work with, so it is very hard for me when I say I like them, they are my friends, but I don't trust their belief, because I don't believe that their belief is coming from a position of honesty and openness. And because I don't believe that, and look, it says it also in the Quran, you deceive until you gain a foothold. If that doesn't tell you that everything that quote unquote religion is about, which is about, and you don't have to agree with me, and if you have proof that I'm wrong, then bring it. Don't, I always tell people, bring it, don't sing it. That's if you have proof. But there are plenty of people who are experts in the Quran that are not Islam, and they have all said the same thing. And in fact, there is a guy who is an imam. He's called the Imam of Peace, which is really funny. But he is actually being hunted because he has gone a different way, even though it calls himself an imam. He has made it abundantly clear that the faith that he chooses to follow is not a compatible faith with Western civilization. And in my opinion, it's just not. I have yet to see anybody prove to me I'm wrong on this. And
well, the Quran, what you're talking about, as far as the lying, the deception, is that it approves the practice of deception in order to, like you said, gain a foothold, or like make yourself look like you're friends with everyone.
Right.
When in fact, that's not your goal.
Right. What else is going on in the world? Well, the FIFA World Cup is coming, and I'm actually kind of excited to see where that goes. Let me see. The cabinet, Trump's cabinet had their last cabinet meeting. So I'm going to bring this one up. This current administration I'm 57. Gab, how old are you? I don't normally ask ladies how old they are. I mean, it's rude to do that. But how old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, so you're 32. In your 32 years on this planet, especially when you got old enough to actually be quasi-aware, have you ever seen an administration that is completely transparent the way this one is?
No.
I mean, they have been running these cabinet meetings live. There is no behind the scenes. I know there are going to be behind the scenes things going on, because there has to be. But when the cabinet gets together and they talk about the accomplishments of what they've done, and here's Chris. He also puts himself above God, and that is a sin. You're absolutely right. A lot of these imams do that. They put themselves above God. It's like, guys are ridiculous. The cabinet meeting, I was really, really impressed with the cabinet and how they're talking about. Trump isn't talking about his leadership. They are talking about his leadership. And I kind of want to talk about that, because the last administration, I call it a regime, was anything but transparent. Let's use this for an example. The pipe bomber from January 6th. What did CNN say about this guy before the mugshot? They called him a white guy.
I think they said he was white.
CNN literally said he was a white guy. And then the mugshot showed up, and it was like, now you don't see anything about that bomber on MSNBC, on CNN.
On the picture they showed of him, they had airbrushed him to where he looked white.
Well, Mom, he was wearing a mask, which gave him the appearance of being white. The point that I'm making is it took the current FBI 8 months to catch a dude that the previous FBI claimed that they were working night and day on for 4 years.
Imagine that.
The only thing Comey and Ray were working on was trying to figure out how to funnel more money in their pockets, in my opinion.
I don't agree with you, Mom. I think that they were doing exactly what the Biden administration wanted them to do, which was go after preachers and go after Catholic preachers and go after moms and dads who didn't agree with the ideologies that were being crammed down their children's throats. Please, somebody tell me where I'm wrong in that. They literally were arrested. They were investigating Catholic churches as purported terrorist organizations. Gab, your dad's a minister.
Yeah, he's a Lutheran pastor.
So he's a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever known him to be anti-government or have you ever thought, my dad might be a terrorist?
No.
Okay, because I've met a couple of preachers, but I've never been, I've never known anybody who's been related to one. How would you feel if your dad called you and said, you know what, I got a visit at my church today from the FBI? How would you feel if that would have happened?
Concerned, I guess. Yeah.
A little scared?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, they were knocking on doors of people that were just like, what the hell? And that's something that should bother every American. I got into a debate with a shipmate of mine about the raid on Mar-a-Lago. And what I said was simply this: if they can do that to a former president, and it doesn't matter whether it's Donald Trump or George W. Bush or H.W. Bush or Barack Obama, it doesn't matter. If they can do that to a former president of the United States in the manner with which they did, fully loaded, ready to shoot someone if needed, what do you think that, I said it exactly like this, they wouldn't even hesitate to come after someone like me. They would beat down the door in a heartbeat. I actually have a bar that blocks my front door, which would give me about an extra 15 to 20 seconds to prepare myself to defend myself and my family. But it should scare everybody that they thought that was okay.
Well, they also thought it was okay to deem parents as domestic terrorists, showing up to PTA meetings and school board meetings and things like that.
Yeah.
Because the parents were concerned that where
Right.
they were leading their children was the totally wrong direction.
Right.
So
Right.
because they stood up and said something,
Right.
their voices were muffled by domestic terrorists.
Right. But let's just arrest a grandma who is dying from cancer because she just happened to walk into the Capitol building, which, oh, by the way, it is the people's building. Am I not wrong in that? Yeah.
No, you're not wrong.
The Hall of Congress belongs to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of giggle because people go, Mark, why do you feel the way you do? And I go, well, because the preamble calls it.
Mm-hmm.
The preamble calls it pretty damn clear, especially the first three words, we the people.
As did
And-
Lincoln.
Exactly, as did Lincoln. Now, Gab, we're about ready to jump off because we got 5 minutes, but I'm going to ask you, who was your favorite president and why?
Oh boy. I always find that to be a very hard question to
Okay.
answer.
Okay.
I usually have quite a few, but Lincoln is usually number one.
Okay. What's your rationale behind that?
I think because he wasn't afraid to stand up for what was wrong. So, standing up to free African Americans that were enslaved in the South and in the United States in general. And, trying to make sure that the American government was for everybody.
Okay. Dennis, your turn.
Well, I agree with Gabby. That one's tough.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's kind of I'm going to say it's a tie for me. Actually, I'm going to say it's a four-way tie.
Oh, crap.
George Washington,
Okay.
just because he was a no-nonsense guy. He knew what he wanted to see the United States become.
Okay.
Um,
Lincoln, you already said that.
Abe Lincoln, Ronald Reagan,
He's another good one.
That's not a bad one.
and then our current number 45 and 47.
Yep.
Okay. Mom?
So that'd be a five-way tie. No, I'm just kidding.
Mom, your turn.
I'd have to go with Washington because without him, I'm not sure we'd have a country.
Very true.
Bingo.
So I'm gonna give mine. It's Washington, and I know that there are a lot of Trumpers out there who have called Trump the greatest president, and I simply state this: Washington marched his army down the streets of Philadelphia, and the entire world, without knowing that they were holding their breath, held their breath to see what that guy was going to do. And he walked into the Continental Congress and he handed his saber and said, "I hereby tender my resignation," and then went home. He, of course, toured his property after, but he relinquished power willingly. That was the first of 3 separate times that he did it. I take it one step further. Of all of our presidents, from the second president to the current president, there was a desire to believe that they could do things better, and they ran. Washington had to be begged to serve. And he, of all of our presidents, and it includes Lincoln and it includes Reagan, he's the only one who understood that his position was not a position of power, it was a position of servitude. And for me, it's why I admire Washington more than I admire any of them. And then that includes Reagan, and it includes Trump. And I agree. Washington, Reagan, and Trump in that order. I say that, and Lincoln, to a very large degree, is thrown in there. And there are presidents who did really, really good things, and there are presidents who were pretty damn crappy.
Mark?
Biden is the worst in history. I don't care what anybody says. You aren't going to get any worse than that. Biden showed us what will happen if we let it go into the abyss.
Mark, what do all those presidents have in common, though? Starting with George Washington. They all set a precedent, and they were action speaks louder than words type presidents.
Yeah,
that's the important thing right there.
Yeah, I think that sets them apart, is that you had decisive presidents. You didn't have. You knew what you were getting with Washington. You damn sure know what you're getting with Trump, and you knew what you were getting with Reagan. You never really knew where. I mean, hell, even H.W. and W. Bush. What the hell were you getting with those cats?
Not much,
right? And you knew what you didn't know about Obama. You knew what you didn't know about Clinton. I mean, okay, we won't even get into Clinton. Clinton was trying to be Kennedy, and honestly, Kennedy was pretty damn decisive as far as Democrats go. And I'm gonna make this statement: I would have taken Kennedy over FDR any day of the week and twice on Sunday. I believe, and I'm not saying that I think FDR was a product of his environment and of his times, but FDR was a socialist, and he believed highly in a socialist agenda, and that made him dangerous. And,
Agreed.
And look,
he was also racist, and he was also anti-Jewish.
And Gab, and we're getting ready to jump off because it is time to jump off. I want to first, everybody who jumped on it, Chris, man, you got to send me a private message so I can get you on, because I cannot wait to get you on the show. Like, your takes are incredible, and I appreciate you coming on. All of you who watched, thank you for watching. This has been a great one because we got another person. And Gab, you will be.
Thanks for coming on, Gabby.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, you're because you got some knowledge that I don't have. You've got a historical brain which fits. For those of you who don't, yeah, I want you on the hey, put you on the panel. Damn right, I'm going to put you on the panel. Trust me, we'll make that happen. I guarantee you, we're going to make that happen.
We're going to bring duct tape.
Gabby,
duct tape for your mouth.
Yeah. You know what? This is my damn show. All of this got started because of my mouth, so you guys can just go pack sand.
Phyllis, that was great.
Gab's read all the Gallant Men by
I did
Donald
several
Stratton.
times.
And this is what, and Gab, I'm going to paraphrase. Why the people of that generation admire FDR is because at a time when everything was so down, he had a positive, at least his attitude was positive. He might have been a socialist. Boy, he is damn positive about what he thought was going to make the country work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that's coming from a guy who was in the middle of it. Donald Stratton was in the middle of it. And I think that was, look, read all the Gallant Men. It is an outstanding book.
It is.
Hey, Chris, not speaking for myself about the intelligence. I try to be smart. Don't always succeed, but I try to be smart. And 43 years old, hey, you're right in the wheelhouse, man. You really are. And I will get you on next week. Gab, you are invited next week.
Thank you.
I promise to be better prepared next week. I
Me
promise
too.
I will be better prepared. Both Dennis and I are officially on remedial for not doing our homework.
Yeah.
Mom, you were ahead of everybody, so you got in there. And Gab, if you have anything you want to talk about, you got a week. You got 7 days, and you're welcome. There's no subject that's taboo, none. So I'm gonna call it.
Hey guys, real quick.
Yeah.
I want you to see this jersey. Do you know whose jersey this is?
I do. It's called the Denver Broncos. They're playing the Oakland Raiders today.
Do you remember where that jersey came from?
Oh, I do know where did that come
number
from? This guy?
24, Champ Bailey, and it was from a special guy that you actually gave me his jersey.
I did. Yeah.
Good old Jimmy.
Yeah, good old Jimmy. You got an Avalanche jersey too, like
I do. Landeskog, I think it is.
I think so. I think I gave you Landy. I think I
You
gave you
did.
Landeskog.
You did, but I cherish those because they're from Jimmy.
Yep, they were Jim's. So
yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles. Ah, come on, Chris. Chris, what's wrong with you, man?
To each their own.
All right, guys. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. And we'll see you guys in 7 days.
Godspeed, everybody.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.